Depend on it. Thank you, Ted. It's 7:37. Happy to have with us the publisher, the man of the TrendsJournal Research Group, Gerald Celente. Hey, Gerald, good morning.
Good morning, Tony.
I'm going to say Happy New Year. What do you say? Are you saying Happy New Year back, or are we okay?
Yeah, Happy New Year. You know, life goes on.
You're a good man, but give us the good and bad. What are you trending right now? What kind of things are you seeing for America here in the next 3-4 years?
Well, on the economy, it's more of the same but worse. And I say more of the same because you can see where it's going and how it got here, and that's what trends are. Where we are, how we got here, and where we're going. And how we got here is that they just keep printing money. And whether they call it QE2 over here or QE3 or QE infinity, whether you're the new prime minister of Japan, Abe, we're printing more money, he tells the Bank of Japan. We got to catch up. And the same thing in Italy and in the Eurozone with their long-term refinancing operations and ongoing monetary transactions. You know, that's all language for just printing more money and debasing the currency. So we're going to see much more of that. And, you know, in the old days, there was a quaint thing. People used to save money. They used to put money in the bank and you get interest on it. Mm-hmm. You don't get it anymore because interest rates are so low.
Right.
So they're pumping up the economy, and that's why you see housing, for example, one of the only real sweet spots, better than it used to be, because loans are so cheap. I just got one myself over here. I bought an old historic building from 1750s, and I got a commercial loan for 3.25%. And they covered closing costs. So they're pumping the economy. On the war scene, unfortunately, it's heating up around the world. What's going on in Syria is spreading into Turkey, into Lebanon. Mm-hmm. We don't see any end in sight. Libya is a mess. There's a civil war. It's spreading in through Africa, countries one after the other, Mali, Central African Republic, Congo, Sudan.
Not to mention the instability right there with, of all places, Egypt. I mean, it goes on and on. Gerald, where did America lose its, and I'm not going to blame this on the Obama administration, where did we lose a little bit of our influence in those cultures? Has it just been coming for decades and decades, actually?
Tony, you can read my book, Trends 2000, that I wrote in 1995. It came out in late 96. And I wrote about Crusades 2000, that when you woke up in the new millennium, it would begin. It's called foreign policy. And when the United States keeps putting their nose in other people's business for business purposes and propping up these dictators around the world, and the people get angry and they lose everything. You know, the gap between the rich and the poor. Far too few have much too much, and way too many have much too little. And then they overthrow the government. And then they hate America because and then we wrote about this before it happened, that they would embrace charismatic clerics, and you could see it coming. We even used the language like that. So. And it's only for money. I mean, that's what it's about. Do you think the United States would be into Libya if they weren't sitting on, sweet crude oil?
Right.
It's one after another. I mean, it's hypocrisy. This baloney about, we're going to export our, freedom and democracy. Yeah, how about doing it over here,
I've got about 3 minutes with you, Gerald. I wanted to ask you some other things. And one of those things I wanted to ask you about, you are saying the next Great Awakening, the American Revolution, had its roots in a powerful little celebrated religion-inspired movement called the Great Awakening. You see a second Great Awakening coming? What do you mean?
Well, the first Great Awakening, it was about also, the people wouldn't look up to nobility anymore, and they said, the heck with this, the crown and all these noble people running us. Who do they think they are? We have to find salvation within ourselves. And there was a religious element, of course, attached to it. This time it's the same thing. Who could believe what's going on when they tune on the television or turn on radio and watch these clowns from D.C.? Who do these people think they are? And then everybody looks at them and says, I don't believe in these jerks. Look how low the approval rating is for Congress. And so what's going to happen is people are going to realize that the future is in their hands, that everybody is responsible for the future. And what the Great Awakening is how high can I go so that when I pass on, I make sure that, I have their salvation for me. We're going to start seeing the same thing. in lack of using a better term, it's going to be like a new age. Not this unicorn, airbrush unicorn stuff,
right.
but really a new age in development and a renaissance.
I wanted to ask you, I guess it'll probably be our final question, but one of the things that you warned us about were the banks being bailed out, Wall Street, Main Street, and everything else. Now we've seen a political campaign that was divided upon two lines. At least I don't think most Americans really related to either side. They don't really relate with corporate America, and that was obvious by the outcome of the election. But yet there's also bigger government in our life, more government intrusion in our life as well that I'm not sure people are seeing. And I guess just to close it out for me here, on the one hand, you have, for example, I do think that Wall Street lost its way with the American people. There aren't enough jobs, even if you give people jobs. And yet there's also this government dependence where there's not people that are willing to work. There is a number of segment. I'm not talking about people that will work and can't find a job. There's a number of a large population that will not and has not nor understands the concept of working for a living. They expect government to take care of them. Where do we come together on this? How do we fix it?
Yeah, no, you're right. Well, the way we fix it is, we have to go back again to self-responsibility. And then when you talk about self-responsibility and people say, why should I work? They were also saying, hey, everybody's ripping everybody else off. Why shouldn't I? The fish rots from the head down. And that's what they see. So they say, why do I care? Why should I do anything? And that's why you see what's happening. This, by the way, 4 words kill capitalism. There's not capitalism in this country. Too big to fail. There's no such thing in capitalism. The merger of state and corporate powers, by definition, is called fascism.
Right. That's true. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Gerald, we can check out more of your work at TrendsResearch.com. I've got it right up here right now with the Trends Journal. We look forward to talking to you more this year, my friend. Thanks so much.
Hey, thank you, Tony.
It's good to talk to you. Gerald Celente joining us. You've seen him on CNN and several other. He's all over. ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. The Trends Journal, it's trendsresearch.com. Check it out. 744 with the morning team at 84 WHAS.